Miami, they're just not that into it tonight. It's pretty clear something's wrong with Dwayne Wade. And the Heat had 50 points total. 50 points total with a minute 45 to go in the third quarter. And they win it last night 83-80. And they basically started to come back as soon as I sent that tweet. So it's just the way the Twitter world works. Hey, you idiot. Oh, this is on you. I don't know, man. What did you guys see the first 3 quarters of that game? I saw a Heat team that thought, all right, whatever, no big deal. We'll go back home this weekend and play one more game. The comeback was both impressive and embarrassing. The Heat outscored the Bulls 18-3 over the final 3 minutes. That's right. 18-3 over the final 3 minutes. 6 of 6 from the floor, 3 of 3 from 3, 3 of only 4 free throw attempts, folks. 3 of 4 on free throw attempts. No turnovers. The Bulls on the other end, 3 points, 1 of 4 from the floor, missed a 3, only took 2 free throws, missed that big one by Rose at the end. Enter Memphis joke here, and 2 turnovers. Wade, Bosh, and James accounted for all 18 of those points for the Heat. And you want to talk free throw differential? Yeah, it was plus 12 for Miami. We can't sit here and say that Miami has more guys that can create their own shot and then be mad when they get more free throws. And just a side note here, I didn't want to get into this early, but I can't help it. I thought it was really funny that people thought the game was fixed in Chicago's favor because of the free throws that they started to get, because people were saying, classic NBA, they want to extend this series, things fixed. And then when it starts going the other way and Miami's getting a bunch of calls late, it turns into, typical NBA, this stuff is fixed. They want LeBron. They want the storyline. They want to put him in the finals. Question for you again. First of all, if you're one of those guys, call up every one of your friends and relatives and thank them for still talking to you. Okay? That's one part. Part 2, continue to search Craigslist. I know you can find her. She'll be out there for you at some point. And look, just don't give up. Okay? At one point you will break up with your laptop and you will find somebody. What else can I say about you, the conspiracy theorist? Why do you watch? And I don't know how you do, because you're always wrong. Look, are there poorly officiated games? Yes. Is the game in trouble? I believe it is. I contend that this game is in trouble and they need to fix some things now before they keep telling us, it's the greatest game in the world, it's the most well officiated, our officials go through all the scrutiny. Well, guess what? They keep screwing up stupid things that are easily fixable. Okay? But to believe it's why would Miami and Boston be a 5-game series? Why would it be a 5-game series if it is fixed? And what did the NBA do? Hey, did you guys call the refs to fix this game so Miami's in the finals? No. Well, what's the score? They're losing. Well, we'll get to those guys. And then the refs are like, hey, we didn't realize you were supposed to fix this. Oh, okay. Well, let's fix it now. And that's why Miami won. It's just not why Miami won. Miami has a cast of guys, I almost feel like last night, because Miami played so poorly and the effort level wasn't the same. And the effort level cannot be at 100. You cannot see that fourth quarter defense from Miami the entire time. It's not sustainable. That is impossible. As much as coaches would like to think that it is possible, it just isn't. And when you're the Bulls and Ronnie Brewer hits that 3 and you're thinking, okay, this thing is over, Chicago fell asleep. Miami, I believe, lulled them to sleep a bit with the way they played. And then next thing you know, Miami's hitting everything. And Dwayne Wade gets a 4-point play, and you're going, this is completely falling apart. So I don't even know if it was just a total choke job as much as, wait a minute, we just lost? We just lost this game? I mean, Derrick Rose has to hit that second free throw. And the funny thing about Rose on his drives is that, this sounds stupid, but he's too worried about making the shot. So he's angling his body away. Like, that's the way the game used to be played. Try to angle your body away from the defensive player and try to get the finish. Now it's, I'm just going to get the call anyway if I create contact, and let me just go get the call. And Rose did it a little bit on that final drive on LeBron before he missed the second free throw. But it's funny because you look at veteran guys. Wade will drive full speed right into somebody with no intention whatsoever of getting the shot off. Deron Williams does it all the time. LeBron does it all the time on transition plays. And that's really what you have to do. I know it sounds totally stupid, but Rose will sit there and kind of angle his body and avoid contact to try to get a clean look, and he could just be getting to the free throw line. So Wade was terrible, and it's funny, too, because you're starting to talk about Wade going, something wrong with this guy? Now, he hit a bunch of free throws. He had 21 points. He hadn't scored really anything. I mean, if you look at James and Wade, they combined for 27 points in the first three quarters, 22 points in the fourth quarter. Dwayne Wade had 9 turnovers through the first three quarters. I know Charles Barkley mentioned that, well, Wade's from the area. He had to get people a bunch of tickets, and Barkley referenced his time of playing in Atlanta, how brutal that was for him. And maybe that's what it is. But I was talking to a couple guys last night talking about draft stuff, and I thought it was funny that both people I talked to were saying, yeah, something looks wrong there with Wade. So something to pay attention to now that we have that finals matchup with Dallas and Miami. LeBron continues to do things we've never seen before. He led the Heat in points, boards, and assists, 28, 11, and 6. It's now the 19th playoff game which James has led his team in all of these three categories since 2006. So 19 times he's been the team leader in boards, points, and assists since 2006. No other player has 3. All other NBA players combined have 22. So everybody else who's played in a playoff game since 2006, every one of those players, there's only been 22 players that have led in points, boards, and assists, and LeBron's done it 19 times. Is he highly unlikable at times on the court? Absolutely. The only person that likes him is the guy who has a poster and the guy who's a Heat fan and the Cleveland fan that just decided he wanted to keep rooting for LeBron. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with you doing that, because that's just the way it works and it's being a fan. But, the fake injury thing, I was the first guy on that. Yes, I was on it way before anybody else. And I'm saying that because that's the truth. And I used to get killed for it all the time. And they'd be like, oh, this guy's 6'8", he's 2. And I would always laugh and be like, oh, he's supposed to be a first-round pick in the NFL draft. The first time he got tackled, it would take a half an hour for him to get up off the field. So there's the mugging for the camera. There's the, he kind of can't win. I get it, but there's a big part of him where you just go, I'm not really enjoying watching this. But I really like watching him play basketball, and the dude's the best in the world. So I'll continue to watch him play. But I can understand some of that James angst, and I don't want to turn it into, talking about, I guess the hate. Every time you criticize anybody now, there's no gray area. It's just, oh, you hate him. No, I don't. I don't hate him. There's just certain things that he does that you just go, oof, it's a little insufferable at times. Now, before we talk about anything else, because we're going to preview the finals next week, most likely with David Thorpe. I'm hoping to do that. That would be Tuesday. I'm off on Monday. And Dallas beat Miami both times during the regular season, and guess what we've learned? That doesn't mean anything, because Chicago couldn't beat Miami. Chicago beat up on Miami throughout the regular season. This Miami team is different now. The confidence to close out like they did last night, to have Haslam back out there, and to have the 5 guys that they were supposed to have, a shortened rotation. They're not searching for matchups, and the defense that they can play. And LeBron is just on cruise mode right now. I don't really know. You can't. Well, look, I'm not telling you who I'm going to pick, but I'm just saying this. I don't want to hear, well, Dallas beat them twice, because it just doesn't mean anything. As far as the Bulls, it's going to be disappointing. Not so much that you lose in the Eastern Conference Finals, but that was kind of disappointing, because when you're watching the beginning of that game, you're seeing that rebounding differential again. You're seeing the points in the paint. The Heat didn't have an offensive rebound, I believe, until late in the first half. I thought they were running Dang off of cuts well. I thought they actually moved Rose off of the basketball a little bit more. Although this is the kind of thing you say that, and then an assistant coach on the staff of the Bulls would go, actually, we ran 45 side pick and roll with Wade and Rose coming across. You're like, look, dude, I didn't have a pen. All right, sorry, I wasn't able to do that for you. But that's what it looked like. And, Boozer has no lift whatsoever. He was terrible last night. He finished 1 of 6, 26 minutes and 5 points, 6 boards, no blocks. Shocker. And now today we're sitting here saying, what do we make of the Chicago Bulls? You'll listen to some talk show host and they'll want to light them up a little bit. And that ending was terrible, man. I mean, I don't say that a ton, but I really mean it. That was awful to have that game fall away like that did in just a few minutes. And it was funny because, as I said at the beginning of it, I'm going, well, let's see. Maybe they go back down there, and that rebounding size advantage, like it's still happening. Could we have this be a Game 7, or is it really just are they going to roll over a little bit later? And I didn't expect what to happen. I don't know how many people possibly could have. But here's what we know with this team moving forward. I hear a lot of people saying, well, they'll just add a 2-guard, maybe a Ray Allen. First, you're not getting Ray Allen, okay? Celtics owner, by the way, mentioned, hey, we're going to keep these 4 guys together, Rondo, Ray, Pierce, and KG. Look, they're all under contract as well, and I don't think Ray's going to opt out of a $10 million player option for next season. That's a lot of cash, but even if he did opt out, is he going to sign for a $6 million mid-level to go play with the Bulls? Well, of course not. He's just not going to do that. So when you look at the Bulls' salary structure, Boozer's under contract now for 4 more years at 13.5, 15, 15, and then almost 17 in that final year. Luol Deng's a lot of money at 12, 13.5, and then 14. Derrick Rose, you have him under the rookie deal for 1 more year at $7 million next year, and then you're going to have to max him out. Kyle Korver's at $5 million for a couple more years. Last year isn't fully guaranteed. Ronnie Brewer's at just under $5 million. There's a lot of guys making money on this. I mean, the fact you could pay C.J. Watson 3.6, 3.4, and then a not fully guaranteed year after next, and then Noah's extension kicks in next year where he gets $12 million. Kurt Thomas, who knocked down a couple open looks when it looked like the game was kind of being funny and Bulls were going to pull away with this thing. He's not on the books next year. It doesn't matter. Asik, who, it's funny, Will Perdue told us on that podcast, he goes, I think this guy's going to be out for the playoff series, and I mentioned something on the air, and then I got yelled at for it not being official yet. But he did try to come back, so it wasn't that he was done for the series, it was that his leg just was really hurt. Taj Gibson, you still have control of him for a couple seasons, and, oh no, Scal's not on the books. That's okay, I think you'll find a way to survive. The point is this, you're about $65 million right now. So the idea that you're going to go out and get Jason Richardson, maybe Jamal Crawford, some scoring wing player, a 2-guard to pair with Rose, I don't know how you're doing it. And I'm not even talking about in the world of a new CBA, which we all assume makes things even more difficult. Crawford will make more than the mid-level if the mid-level still exists. Say the mid-level is $6 million. Jamal Crawford's not signing for that. I don't think Jason Richardson's going to do that unless it was a 1-year deal where he really felt like he was in a spot to win. I mean, that would be an absolute steal for any team to sign him to that kind of contract, and that's why today I would sit here and tell you, I don't know. And I know people love to revisit the O.J. Mayo trade, and maybe it possibly could happen, but you're going to have to move Asik or you're going to have to move Taj Gibson. Like, you're going to have to move one of those guys for that deal to go down. And there's probably a part of you as a Bulls fan that thinks, well, I don't want to give up those guys, defensively and Taj, role player. Well, you're going to have to decide what you would rather give up. What I would do is I would try to move Boozer. And I know it sounds reactionary, but he has no lift. And what do you think he's going to be like 2 years from now, paying him $15 million with another $31, $32 million on the books? I would move him, because the reason why I thought he was such a great fit was he gave you some balance as a post-offensive player, but he can't really do it anymore because he can't score over the top.